Translator Simon, and he says, when I lived in Spain, I was once trying to exchange contact details with a girl. I should have said dame tus sueños. Instead, I said dame tus sueños, which means give me your dreams. She laughed, but I don't think she gave me either. I hope you've had more luck since then, Simon. Andrada, have you got any stories of where you've tried to communicate with someone and they've just got the wrong end of the stick?
A friend of mine who is British but lives in Romania and has a bilingual boy told me this funny story. They went to a restaurant and the child wanted to have pizza. He said in English, I want to command a pizza, because the words order and command are synonyms in Romanian.
British English is full of phrases like get the wrong end of the stick, which I just used, which when you take them literally, they make zero sense. So, Godfred, Andrada, I've got a few to share with you and I want to see if you've heard of them and if you know what they mean. Okay, so the first one, cut the mustard. Have you heard of that?
No.
We have cut the mustard in Romania and it means getting angry.
Oh, does it? Okay, so it doesn't mean that here. So if something cuts the mustard, it means it really gets it right. So say someone gives you a birthday present and you're a bit disappointed, you might say, oh, it didn't really cut the mustard. And it means, it wasn't great. But interesting that you use it differently in Romania. Okay, two more quick ones. Godfred, hit the sack.
Sleep.
Perfect, nailed it. What about face the music?
Oh yeah, that one you hear from grade school. As soon as you enter first grade, you know you're going to face the music. Your teacher will never let you forget that one.
So what context do teachers use it in?
It's their happiest friends. Yes.
Okay, what about you, Andrada? Are you familiar with face the music?
Yeah, and I think that it means that you need to be brave and actually do something.
Perfect. Are there any that you've noticed, Andrada, that I haven't mentioned?
The one that's, I think, interesting to me is raining cats and dogs.
Yes.
Why?
Yeah, why?
Why would you like to have cute animals fall from the sky? Why?
Yeah, that's true. That would be a horrible scene if it was actually raining cats and dogs. Can you imagine? If funny English sayings are your cup of tea, we have a World Service podcast for that. Just search for The English We Speak wherever you get your BBC podcasts. And listeners, do you have any more funny language stories? Please do send them to us on +44 330 678 3080. We've come to a part of the show where I get to dig a bit deeper into a science story that's caught my eye. This week, vaping. A couple of weeks ago, France set out a plan to ban disposable vapes by the end of the year. Here's Gareth Barlow on the World Service's news show, The Newsroom.
In France, a ban on disposable e-cigarettes, known there as puffs, is expected to come into force by the end of the year. Anti-smoking campaigners say children are being drawn to them into taking up the habit for life.
And just last week, Wales, the home of unexpected elements, published guidance to help tackle vaping in school. Meanwhile, doctors in England are encouraging smokers to take up vaping, while in India, Mexico and dozens of other countries, vaping is banned altogether. And if you're found with a vape in Thailand, you can face up to a decade in prison. It's certainly a confusing international picture.
Well, when it comes to the matter of vapes, they've been banned in Ghana effectively since July of this year. And that's because it was considered quite dangerous to the health, and also because quite a few African countries have started discussing the ban of vapes. So Uganda, for instance, has an effective ban in place.
Okay, interesting. And is the ban working? Have you noticed fewer people vaping?
Well, the ban came into place even before vaping had actually taken off. You would normally find it amongst upper class societies. It wasn't a very common phenomenon. So the ban effectively put paid to its growing popularity, or any chance of it becoming even more widespread.
I thought vaping had only been around for the last 10 years or so, but a little bit of research for this section of the show revealed I'm wrong. So Godfred, Andrada, when do you think someone first applied for a patent for the first vape or electronic vaporizer? What's your guess?
1999?
1980s?
Well, you're both very wrong. It was 1927. So nearly 100 years ago, someone first applied for a patent for an electronic vaporizer.
Yeah, that's just a patent though. When did vaping actually become popular?
Well, the patent was approved, but the electronic cigarette wasn't brought to market until 40 years later in 1963. But it didn't take off. Partly because the vapes would run out of battery very quickly, and partly because people weren't aware of the health risks of smoking, so they preferred to consume nicotine with the smoke rather than without. But everything changed in the early 2000s, when Chinese pharmacist Hon Lik lost his father to lung cancer. Apparently frightened by his own addiction to cigarettes, he used new technological advancements, mostly cheap access to lithium batteries, to invent a new generation of vapes which could run for hours at a time. Here he is talking to Matt Ridley on the BBC's Newsnight in 2015.
This is Hon Lik, the Chinese inventor of e-cigarettes. It's like meeting Walter Raleigh, or it would be if Walter Raleigh had either invented or discovered smoking, which of course he didn't.
I worked hard to invent the e-cigarettes. I saw the future business for them, but I knew it would change many people's habits, and many people could benefit as well. That was a reason for me to invent it.
And what do you think about various governments and administrations saying that your e-cigarette should be banned in the same way that regular cigarettes are?
I think the government should have stricter laws on sales to underage people, and to raise the quality of the raw materials used and the products themselves. At the same time, they should actively help e-cigarettes become more easily available to smokers.
So vaping first took off in China. Godfred, you studied in China, right?
Right. I went to school at Xiamen University, very beautiful city in the Fujian province. And it was funny for me, it was like the first time I'd actually seen electronic cigarettes and vape.
Interesting. So what year was this?
This was around 2010. Basically, when you stepped out to socialize with your friends, you went to the pub. It was pretty popular with them. It was the first time that I'd actually ever seen that.
Bearing in mind vaping first became popular in China, in 2022, vapes that are anything other than tobacco flavour were banned in China because people were worried that they were being marketed for teenagers. But China is still the largest exporter of flavoured vapes to the rest of the world.
Sounds a bit familiar. Like when flavoured cigarettes were banned?
Yeah, exactly. In just 2009, flavoured cigarettes were banned in the US due to fears they were appealing to teens, followed by a ban from the European Union in 2014. And like how people began to worry about health risks of smoking, there is growing international concern about the health risks of vaping. It's currently thought that vaping is much better for you than cigarettes, but research suggests it does increase your risk of heart attack, asthma, and chronic obstructive pulmonary disease. Plus, there's the environmental impact. In the UK, we throw away around 260 million disposable vapes per year, which contain enough lithium to make batteries for about 1,200 electric cars. Andrada, what's the picture like in Romania at the moment? Is it still really popular?
Yeah, vaping is still popular here, but typical cigarettes are even more popular. Roughly a third of the adult population smokes, one of the highest percentages in Europe. And what's particularly concerning is that a third of adolescents have tried smoking at least once. And although selling cigarettes to minors is illegal in Romania, they can easily access vapes. However, change might be on the horizon. A bill currently in Parliament seeks to ban the sale of vapes to adolescents.
So at the moment, adolescents can buy vapes but not cigarettes?
Yeah, they can buy them online.
Ah, so how do you stop that? I guess you just make it illegal and prosecutable if you're found with one.
Well, in July, the Romanian government banned flavored vaping, with the restrictions set to take effect from October, so next month. The decision targets young consumers in particular. It would be interesting to see if it works, if banning flavored vaping or the sale of vapes to adolescents can curb the trend or not.
Okay, so when you say ban of flavoured vapes, does that mean that non-flavoured vapes will still be allowed, so like nicotine flavour ones?
Yeah, for adults.
Okay, well, with vaping being banned in dozens of countries and whisperings of many more following suit, this is definitely one we need to check back in on in the future. But for now, it's time to go home. I've got a lovely cycle ahead of me on newly inflated bike tyres, but before I pedal away, I want to say a big thank you to Godfred Boafo in Ghana and Andrada Fiskutian in Romania.
Always welcome, Caroline. Love being on the show.
It was great fun.